All right, moving into our next one, improve bank feeds. Okay, so this is some cool features. So if anybody ever does demos, what's it called? The sample service-based business has the ability to demo bank feeds because they have some bank feeds data in there, so you can see. So first of all, bank feeds, when you set this up and you go in for the first time, it's going to tell you there's a new way to do bank feeds, and you can click learn more and it'll take you to the site. This is a preference setup similar to when they made changes to bank feeds before. It's under company preferences for checking. And there are now 3 versions of bank feeds that you can choose. Classic mode. If anybody uses classic mode, please raise your hand. I would love to know something. I loved classic mode too. Express mode, right, which is the way that we do it now. The most recent until now, we have advanced mode, which is what's new in QuickBooks 2021. Okay, so it's a preference to turn it on to be able to view it this way. When you log in for the first time, I was going to show you guys in 2020, right, what it looks like, just so that in case you forget or have forgotten, oh, I'm not in the right file. I'll get into the right file and show you guys what it looks like in 2021 or in 2020, just in case anybody forgets what it used to look like. So in here, a couple of views that are different. So first of all, we have bank and credit cards. So it has a very much so QuickBooks Online feel, in case you guys haven't been in QuickBooks Online lately. So I love that they do that. It makes it really nice when there is standardization between the products, QuickBooks Online and Desktop, because it makes it easier for clients who are making the switch. So I love seeing some of these things fall more in line. So having these 2 tiles up top, having these different tabs across the middle part here is very exciting. So right now I'm looking at the financial, the banking side. I can flip over to the credit card side to see what we have as far as credit card information outstanding. Okay. We have in the up top here, we have filters, right? So we can choose to filter for what type of transactions we're looking at. We can also choose to filter for different date ranges. We also have settings to say which columns we want to show. So do we want to show type? Do we want to show memo, check number, and also class? You can remove or add class from here. But if any of these things are not important, we can add or remove them from here, okay? We can search on these different lists. So if I needed to, I wanted to only look for everything that contains nursery in it, let me go ahead and narrow this list down and focus on what I want to focus on there. On the side, we have quick actions, which you don't have to drill down into anymore. So I can just click confirm, 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 confirm. Everything's matched perfect. I don't have to click the drop down and say confirm. Okay. In the drop down, if you wanted to, you can see view the details. You can say this is not a match, or we can ignore it from here. All right. Down below in our batch actions, so we have add and confirm, we have ignore, and we can have mass, not a match. In the add section, again, add more details, right? There's a quick action. I can go into add more details. It will show you if there was a rule applied, right? Which rule is being pulled in. Okay, so you can see the details, the date, the number, the payee, the account. You can add customer, job, billable, class amount. I can add lines. This is all pretty standard. It's just kind of a different look, right? But same information as what we had before. One thing that you can do that is different is that you can create a rule from this transaction. So I have marked something. I've said, yes, this is what I want to do. And I now want to make that my standard. Okay. Can also match to existing transactions. And we can limit, right? Search, which type of transactions are we looking at? Bills, payments, transfers, last 30 days or all. Okay. If I try to apply this $200 to here as an example. It's going to give me the difference, right? And I can say resolve the difference. Where do I want the adjustment to go if I'm choosing to resolve? All right, rules. So some rules, the rules are changed just a little bit. So you can click on rules up top here. When we go to add a rule, we can put in a rule name. I can choose, is this for money in or money out? What is this rule meant to apply to? So you can narrow down your rules now. That is something awesome. When the transaction meets any or all of these conditions, you can choose that. Narrows it down a little bit. And we can have more things that we're narrowing down based off of. So I can say when the amount is greater than, equal to, less than. I can say when the description begins with, contains, matches, right? When the memo, whatever, begins with, contains, matches. I can add a line and say when the memo does this and or, right, because I have any up here, any of these exist, the description does that, then choose to do this. Rename the payee, categorize it to this account, and add in the class. Okay, so just more things we can do when it comes to the different roles so that we can have more automation in product. So it'll take a little bit of time to get them set up, take a little bit of time to teach QuickBooks all the things that we need it to learn, right? Take that extra time, set up those rules so that we can have that automation happening. I got a yay, woohoo, yay. Yes, this is all versions of QuickBooks Desktop. Pretty cool. Yay, I got an awesome, yay. I like it. Okay, another awesome, to me, awesome. So last year, QuickBooks released this thing, and it was called, it's happening on my other screen with my 2020 version. They added this this area of the program under payments reminders called mailing list, right? If you guys remember from my 2020 version, we had this concept of mailing list. So they changed it a little bit this year, and it's changed for the better. So it made mailing list, made a very short debut and is gone now, and it's rebranded to be called customer groups. So where do we get to this? Under customers, we have payment reminders. Review and send payment reminders, we'll talk about in a little bit. Schedule payments reminders, we'll talk about here. But manage customer groups. I'm assuming that this is going to be put some other places, but this is how you get there currently. So I come into customer groups. I have some customer groups set up already because I've been testing, right? And I'll show you what they mean, but you can edit them, you can delete them, or you can email these customer groups from here. I'm going to go ahead and create a new customer group. So there's 3 steps to creating a group. First one is we want to name the group. So I'm going to say East Customers. Okay, and then I can put in whatever Tommy's territory, whatever description I want. I'm going to select the fields, right? So there's a whole bunch of fields I can select based off of. So I can say customer type equals not equals, and then it's going to show me my customer types. And I add that. Then I can say status equals not equals active. I add that. State. Well, let me just continue because I got too excited. State's where I want to go. Credit limit, right? Equals, not equals, less than, greater than. That's a factor. I can narrow it down. Open balance equals, greater than, less than, between. Country. What country equals, and it picks up how many countries I have on my customer list showing up, and I can select multiple countries. I can see state. What's state? Right, so I'm just going to do state equals, And I don't really want to like go too deep into all of this, but let's just choose a couple. 1, 2, New Jersey, New York. Okay, so there's a couple. Add, right? So you can see where this is headed. We can do it based off of sales tax code, sales tax item. Okay, so very cool. We can narrow things down based off of fields and values that we have set up. This is this is just amazing to me that they're building things this way. And I can see based off this direction, all of the things that we're going to be able to do in the future, including some of the features I'm going to talk to you guys about. So I selected the fields, and then the next thing I do is I say, add these, view selected customers. Well, guess what? My selected fields didn't have any customers. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to narrow this down a little bit. And maybe I don't have any. Let's just say New York for now. I got too excited. Okay, I have no New York customers. Let me just say California, because I know in our sample files that they have a lot of California clients. We'll pretend that California is on the East Coast for right now. So it contains California. Next. All right, so there's some customers. So 24 customers off of my customer list show up on this list. Okay, so that means I'm narrowing down my customers based off of these criteria that we selected before. Now, the coolest part about this is this little checkbox here. I can automatically add new or remove existing customers based on fields and values selected in this group. What does that mean? So let me go ahead and look here. So Edward, Blackwell, etc. Let me go ahead and say finish. Let me set up a new customer. All right, and this is going to be California East customer. And this customer is going to be in 123 ABC Street, Austin, CA 12121. Okay. So I set up this brand new customer on my customer list. Now at the customer level, I'm not seeing any of this information, right? I assume too at some point it'll say like what customer groups are these customers applying to. But when I come back in here and I edit my East customers and I take a look, next, here I have, why is it not? Of course in my demo it's gonna not do it. Okay, well let me go into my West Coast customers or my true West Coast because I actually, yes. West Coast customers, next, and there, maybe I just didn't see it because I was looking for E, California East Coast customer, right? So they automatically, even though I just set this customer up, because of the criteria on the selected field, it is picking it up on my list that now this customer is part of this list. So that automation is a big deal. Okay, big deal. And I'll show you why it's a bigger deal for enterprise in a minute. So these are customer groups. The fact that you can set up your customers, you can set up criteria around it, that based on that criteria, customers can automatically be added to a particular group. Now, what do we do with these customers, right? So one of the things that you can do with these customers is you can email them from here. Selected all these customers, I can send them all an email. Now, of course, you want to be careful with things like this because you don't want to be mass spam emailing anybody. But if you have permission to email your customers in this fashion, you can send out mass emails to all of the people on this list. Pretty cool. Okay. The other thing that you can do is the next section in our payment reminders, which is review and send payment reminders or schedule payment reminders. So this feature came out last year. When it came out last year, it was tied to mailing lists, right? But now we can tie it to our customer group. So what's nice about that is I can create a new schedule, right? An invoice schedule or a statement schedule. This is an invoice schedule. This is a statement schedule. I can choose which group I'm sending these to. And then I can add reminders, right? Send statement on this day, 20th of every month for the statement period, all to date, or only open transactions, right? Or only open transactions that are over this amount of days. Item, what do I want to include? Item details, memo due date, which template, which email template, generate statement. So not just automated invoices anymore, we can now do automated statements. Okay. Big deal. And why it's an even bigger deal is because of that customer groups. The fact that your customers, you set them up in the system and now magically they're going to show up in this customer group and then they're going to get these reminders magically as well. Pretty cool, right? So let's say you have 2 sales reps. One sales rep likes to be extra harsh and, you know, whip his customers into shape. One sales rep is a little bit more passive and likes to be a little bit more gentle with her customers. They can have different reminders, different email templates, and it automatically happens. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to think about it. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. Well, Kathy, that is a very interesting question. Kathy asked, how long do we recommend that people wait to upgrade to the latest product so that bugs can be worked out? So I usually tell people to wait like until, you know, November, December, January sometime. However, the last several years, if there is, I mean, these features are big every year and they can have a huge impact on time. And time going into holidays is a really big deal. So some of these things I think are worth upgrading if you're going to use them right away. Time is the most important thing we have right now, right? We're all learning that really clearly. Okay, so second thing that customer groups feeds into, this is enterprise only. So everything that I've been showing so far is all SKUs, all versions of desktop. This feature is enterprise only, however, and it is a big deal. It's one of the top asks as far as I know what people have been asking for. So this has to do with user setup. So we go into setup users and roles. Again, enterprise has the highest level of security than any other Intuit product, right, as far as being able to segregate what people have access to do. So I'm going to click on my roles list, and I'm going to create a new role from scratch. And I'm going to call it Tommy Salesperson. And then I'm going to go to my centers, and I'm going to click on Customer Center, and we have a new custom access level down here. If I click on that custom access level, I can click Define, and look at that. I have my customer groups. So what this means, Tommy's territory, I can say Tommy has access to create new customers. That's fine. If Tommy creates a new customer that falls outside his territory, Tommy will not be able to see that customer. Right? Can create it, could fall outside. Tommy has access to view, modify, delete, print, view balance of customers in his territory. Very cool. Very, very cool. This is one of the things that people have asked for before. I want my sales reps to only see their customers. I want my project managers to only see their jobs that they are on. Very cool. Yeah, big deal. Customer groups are available in all versions. This custom access is available in enterprise only. Yeah, huge deal. Thanks, Kim. I'm getting so much excitement today. Yay, this is what I was hoping for. It's great. I love it. All right, so let me get into poll 3. I'm running behind on my polls. All right, so how would you best use these data level permissions? What do you think the best use of them would be? Sales reps.
Yeah, and just as far as timing, you have oodles of questions coming in. So
know.
if you could get through, but don't worry, everyone, we will be passing these questions on to Marjorie. So if she can't get to all of you today, not to worry.
Yeah, I'm getting nervous about timing. We said an hour, and then I said an hour and a half. So I have the last bits here. There's several more things to go through, but a lot of them are going to be in slides because they're not things that I can show. So should be going a little bit faster here, but yeah, definitely need to speed it up a little bit. And all the questions, we will get to all the questions after if we do not get them today. So we'll be reaching out directly, but I'll try to get through as many as we want. Okay. Good question, Lisa. All right, so let me go ahead and close the poll. Give a couple extra seconds here, 91%.
But we're over a minute. You can
Okay.
move on.
Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and share. So it looks like not too many people, 50% say they won't use it, 16% sales rep, 20% project managers, and 13% purchasing. So in here, in this version, also, when I go to create a new role under centers, I also have vendor center, which does have that custom access as well. So if I click on that custom access, I can set up a vendor group, limiting in the same way, but different fields, right? Limiting access, vendor type, status, 1099, availability. Oops, I'm not showing my screen. There we go. 1099 availability, open balance, credit limit, country, state. So these are vendor grouping as well. The only way I've seen to get to that is when you're in enterprise and setting up the custom permission. So right now, as far as I know, the vendor grouping is only enterprise. Okay, let's move on. Customized payment receipts. So this is something that's fascinating to me. Intuit said that this is one of their top voice of the customer requests in the last year. So I'm glad to share it. Hopefully it'll make people happy. I don't think I've heard it before. So in our templates now, we have a new template called a payment receipt template. Let me see if I get a whole bunch of yays for this one too. So just like we have other templates in QuickBooks, we can come in, add logos, choose what information we're going to add. We can do additional customizations, see what we're going to have in our headers. Maybe we don't call it payment receipts. Maybe we just call it receipt, date, payment methods, right? So we can make modifications, choose which columns we want to see and or rename or reorder the columns. And then we can dive into the layout designer to get more specific with what we want to narrow down. So I'm not going to go into how to do templates. I'm sure a lot of you guys know how to edit your templates. But you can now have a template for payment receipts. So in your preferences under payments and company preferences, there is an area to select your default payment receipt that you want to use once you set your template up. And then when you go to customers and receive payments, right, here's customer receive payment. Under the formatting tab, I can also modify if I want to use one of my other templates. I can choose to use one of my other templates from here. Okay. So if I go here and I go previous and formatting and preview, I now have the ability to have a customized template. Pretty neat. Okay. All right. So in enterprise only, this is another enterprise only feature. There's only a couple, as I mentioned. We do have the ability now to print prices on labels. So in enterprise, right, we have under items and inventory, advanced inventory setting, we can have barcode labels, enable barcodes. This has been here for a while. Once you have barcodes set up on your items list, right, so if I get into an inventory part, I have my barcode number there, my QuickBooks generated for me. Then when we go into print our forms and print our labels, print our item barcodes and say okay, and do preview. You can see here, right, I have the ability to have prices printed on my barcode labels as well. A little minor change there. All right, let me go ahead and get back into my slide deck for our, I'm going to have to progress way far forward, for our next section here. So automatic payments reconciliations. So there are a couple of new things coming out with payments reconciliation. So I don't know how many people use QuickBooks for payments. Hopefully a lot of people, because it makes life a lot easier, right? Because it does reconcile itself. All right, let me show my screen. So they have a new look to payments reconciliation. So it kind of has like a look of what the online banking has, right? Or bank feeds. So it allows for booking credit card fees faster. When I come in here, I can't show it to you because I don't have a credit card account set up in my demo file, but I have all the payments to record, right? All the different batches will be showing up in here. How many have been recorded, how many are pending deposit. Lots of different information available here. Okay. I didn't fully understand the changes that they were making with this, except for the look, because a lot of this stuff is auto-reconciled already when you have payments, but this is one of the features that they're talking about in this new look. We can talk about QuickBooks Capital here in a second too, so there's some pretty cool stuff there. So Web Connector changes, again, I don't know when this one comes about, but there's going to be some major Web Connector changes coming about. Allowing for a REST API, a representational stage transfer, REST, R-E-S-T, API. So it'll have a closer feel to QuickBooks Online, where we can have continuous access and real-time updates, right? So right now, when you have connecting to an app with QuickBooks Desktop, you have to be logged into QuickBooks Desktop, and it's not real time. It's based off a timer, or it's based off of a manual action, right? Push, 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 because I did this. And so we're going to be moving more closer to that. We do a lot of integrations with QuickBooks here at 4Lane. We do a lot of custom integrations. So that is something that we are very excited to see the output of that. I don't have the documentation yet, but supposedly we're going to be getting documentation shortly. So let me go ahead and launch a poll around custom, because this is a fascinating topic to me too in talking about automation. So everybody has these outside systems. Me personally, I find that a lot of people have, more often than in the last 10 years, have homegrown systems. They're making their own software nowadays. People, I feel like, are going back to the days of making their own homegrown software. So if your clients have external information that's flowing into QuickBooks, how is that happening? Custom integrations directly through the API. We have custom integrations through the Web Connector currently. So if you guys use, WebGility, then that's the answer. Most of them go through the Web Connector. And then apps, right? Most of those go through the Web Connector. And then my clients don't usually use data outside of QuickBooks. That's also a fascinating one. So let me go ahead and close and share. Looks like most people don't have data flowing in from outside the system into QuickBooks. Some using custom through the Web Connector, so that's pretty cool. Or all of the above. I like that answer too, Mike.